Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. This is the preview for the Clash of Champions that goes down tomorrow night from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, which is about 90 minutes to 2 hours away from where we are in Rhode Island. Myself and Anthony Florio are here with you tonight. Michael Bullock is out. He will not be on the show this evening. And Dee Dee Woodson, we actually do not know where she is at the moment. We did send her a couple of invites. If she does appear on the show tonight, then great. If she doesn't, then we'll definitely see her tomorrow night for the recap. So we're just going to run it two-man. And we got basically, like I said, the Clash of Champions. All titles on the SmackDown Live end will be on the line on this show. And more importantly, a very important tag team fight will go down as well. Yes, there is a pre-show match. Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley. We don't necessarily talk about that match as well. And just to save us the time and the space here, there is a match on the main show. It's Breezango, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze versus the Bludgeon Brothers, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. I think we pretty much have an idea who's going to win that match, so we're not going to waste our time on that either. We're just going to focus on the 5 remaining fights that's definitely going to be that's going to have a lot of influence on the direction of SmackDown Live. So let's start off with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, as the reigning champions, the Usos, will go up against 3 other tag teams. The New Day. Now, we don't know which 2 members of the New Day it's going to be right now. But you know it's Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. We also have Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and the most unlikeliest teams to get a title shot here, but has become very over by the WWE Universe, and definitely getting a lot of love and traction by the IWC lately too. Aiden English and Rusev. And, you know, I'm going to say it. Okay. Now, going into this fight, I was thinking, oh, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be Aiden English. And, you know, I was thinking maybe the Usos at the very beginning, because Usos, reigning champions, they're looking like they're going to be a good team to work with, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, with their run as tag team champions. Then the New Day gets involved, and I'm like, maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. You know, they've had the ball way too many times. I don't think they should get another shot. Then there was Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. Now, this was a team that at first you're thinking, maybe, maybe not. You know, it would be great to see Shelton and Gable get the belts, and it would be awesome and the whole 9 yards, and it would be a great moment for them. And then after that, you got Rusev and Aiden English. Now, in the back of your mind, you're like, no way, no how. This is a comedy gimmick. There's no way they're going to strap them. All of a sudden, the WWE Universe is starting to pull in that direction. They love Rusev, and it's Rusev Day. Aiden English starting his Luciano Pavarotti, the Robert Goulet, the, you know, whatever Anthony Florio always likes to call him. And all of a sudden, you're starting to see the WWE Universe starting to pull that direction where this might actually happen. And if WWE pulls the trigger on this and strap Rusev and Aiden English, this might be a shot in the arm to the tag team division. And I know a lot of people be like, if you had said that about a month ago, 2 months ago, you probably be telling me I was nuts, that I'm out of my mind. But Anthony started thinking maybe this could happen. Michael Bullock was thinking that way. And now I'm starting to pull that direction too. If Aiden English and Rusev wins the titles tomorrow night, it will be, without a doubt, definitely a crowning achievement for them both. Rusev hasn't had a legitimate title since becoming the United States Heavyweight Champion about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Of course, everybody knows he lost the belt to John Cena at WrestleMania, and he was never the same after that. Well, Aiden English, he's never really had a big run. Yes, he was an NXT Tag Team Champion with Simon Gotch when they were part of the Vaudevillains, but in WWE, Aiden English has never gotten another opportunity, another title shot. He's gotten nothing from WWE. What if they pull the brass ring? What if they pull the trigger and strap these men and let them win the belts tomorrow night? It would be, without a doubt, one of the greatest moments ever. No doubt about it. And we'll see what happens there. So, Anthony, come on in. I got Aiden English and Rusev winning the belt. I know you did at one time. Are you still on that bandwagon? Are you still on that Rusev and English train, or have you jumped off and gone with another team?
Very tough now, MF. Or I should say, well, I'll tell you, MF. This can go either way, honestly. But before I get into that, I just got a message from Dee Dee Woodson. She's going to be at her work for another 15 more minutes. And that's why she didn't answer your invite, MF. So that's what was going on there. And maybe, just maybe, Dee Dee Woodson, there is a puncher's chance she might join us. So we'll find out. So getting back to the business at hand. Yeah, I'll admit it. A couple weeks ago on Cerebral Smack Talk, I did make an early projection that I was thinking maybe Rusev and Aiden English were going to win the tag team titles and, become the next great, funny ha-ha comedy act, the best one we've seen since The Miz and Damian Mizdow a few years ago. And because they've been getting some big pops. And well, here we go. Rusev and English, they've picked up consecutive clean wins over the New Day and the Usos. The New Day winning them back would not make much sense at all, and they were only added to the match after losing to Rusev and English. So that would leave either a retention or new champions. I mean, right now, if you've noticed, MF, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable have quietly turned heel all of a sudden. I mean, that doesn't make sense whatsoever. I mean, that just came out of nowhere. And there is a possibility that WWE might want Benjamin and Gable to get a rub here without going over the Usos. So remember, Fatal 4-Way rules, the first team to score a pinfall or a submission walks out of Boston as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And the champions do not need to be involved in the decision in order to lose the titles. And how many times have we seen that over the years, whether it's Fatal 4-Way or Triple Threat or what have you? We've seen that a lot of times. We could have an ultimate opportunist moment. And I think that's the only way Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable can win the titles. And there is a possibility that Rusev and English could end up doing the job for that. But in all seriousness, this match has all the makings to be the sleeper fight of the card, especially considering the recent history between the Usos and the New Day, which has produced amazing matches, i.e. SummerSlam and the Sin City Street Fight, and of course, the first ever Tag Team Championship Hell in a Cell match, and one of 2017's best feuds. It's one of the two best Tag Team Division feuds in WWE this year. The other, of course, being The Bar and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose over on Monday Night Raw. But the recent emergence of Gable and Benjamin, who have successfully navigated a subtle heel turn, has me thinking a title switch, and not the title switch you were thinking. Remember, keywords, I said early progression towards Rusev and English. But now, because of Rusev and English going over the New Day and the Usos clean on back-to-back weeks, including the go-home show, Booking 101 could rear its ugly head here. To be honest, I want Rusev and Aiden English to win the titles. I really do. And MF, you mentioned it. You know how much I love Aiden English's singing voice. You mentioned two of my four. You mentioned Pavarotti, you mentioned Robert Goulet, but the other two you have to mention next time. The two great male singers from my favorite childhood show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the late great John Reardon and Francois Clemens. You ever heard those two guys? Oof, you'd be blown away by how incredibly talented they were. But nonetheless, I am going with new champions, but not who you think. I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to surprise some people because I'm all about surprising people. I want Rusev and Aiden English. My gut is telling me to go with them, but I got to listen to my heart here. I got a feeling about Benjamin and Gable because I think WWE wants to do a tag team title feud with Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable against the Usos. And a spin-off feud with those two, I think for me, body of work and match quality wise, I think that makes the most sense to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rusev and Aiden English win the belts. I wouldn't. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna change my mind here, and I'm gonna take a chance, and I'm gonna say your winners and new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. MF, how do you follow that? Move on.
All right, we're going to give it to the ladies now. The SmackDown Women's title on the line in a Lumberjill match. The champion, Charlotte Flair, puts the title on the line against the Queen of the Black Hearts, Natalya. Anthony Florio, you get to lead off on this one.
Okay. Going back to the well with Charlotte and Natalya kind of feels forced to me, as does the main focus of this match involving the newly formed Riot Squad's feud with, I guess, the reforming Welcoming Committee. The psychology of so many women angry at being passed over for a title shot, happily accepting a Lumberjill role as some sort of silver lining does not make sense whatsoever. Maybe that's on purpose. For the first time in months, though, we're entering a SmackDown Live pay-per-view with no one questioning whether Carmella will cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. I think it seems like perfect timing, setting the stage for a possible title feud with Charlotte Flair heading into the Royal Rumble in 6 weeks. Like I said, WWE has done a very good job keeping Carmella and the briefcase off television and out of the announcers' mouths for a solid period of time after she was a topic of conversation on a week-to-week basis. Don't get me wrong, she's there, but she's not being talked about. And because of that, I think now is the time to cash it in and add some much-needed energy to the women's division on SmackDown Live. With so much chaos surely to go on, both in and out of the ring, it gives Charlotte an opportunity to lose without being hurt. And I think you also want Charlotte Flair in the rumored initial Women's Royal Rumble match. Assuming it happens, she would be a wonderful first winner. But I don't know if she would be the winner, though. Because there's a certain Empress of Tomorrow from Kyoto, Japan, from Osaka, Japan, on Monday Night Raw, who I think would be, who I ultimately think will win that thing if they do it. But that's a story for another day. So this would be a way to make that happen. So two things are going to happen in this match. Ultimately, I think Charlotte Flair is going to retain the title. However, I'm calling it right here and now. Remember, Carmella used to be a New England Patriots cheerleader. Remember that. And where is this event tomorrow night? Boston, the heart of Patriots country. So I think Charlotte Flair is going to retain the title initially, but then all hell's going to break loose after the bout. And I think Carmella is going to pull the trigger. I think she's going to cash in. She's going to finally cash in the contract. And I say Carmella will walk out of Boston, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, set up a brief title program between her and Charlotte Flair. I think you might want to have, if they're going to do this Women's Royal Rumble, I think you need to have Charlotte Flair in that match. And if you do, that's a perfect backbone for that. I could see her winning it. But I still have this feeling about Asuka. But like I said, story for another day. We have to wait and see if they do it. We both want to see it happen. Edie Woodson wants it to happen, and I know Bullock wants it to happen too. But Just read your dirt sheets, folks. Take it with a grain of salt. Read into it what you will. But nonetheless, Charlotte's going to win the match ultimately. But then Carmella's cashing in Money in the Bank because of all the fracas, and Carmella will end the night as SmackDown Women's Champion. What do you think of that, MF?
For your sake, you better hope you're wrong. For your sake, Anthony Flair, you better hope you're wrong, because you're going to get, because not only will you have an angry Michael Bullock on your hands, you actually might get thrown into the woodshed, bent over the checkered apron, and probably get your tail kicked by Dee Dee Woodson. I think when she gets to hear this later tonight, she might be coming after you for your prediction, but that's a story for another day. And I hate to say this, but I did not think about the Carmella until just now, until you just brought it up. You're right. The Money in the Bank is still out there in play, and it has not been used yet. Anytime, any place, anywhere, up to 1 year, and Carmella has not used the Money in the Bank up to this point. And normally you would think, well, you saw it. You saw it utilized back at when Baron Corbin tried to cash it in Providence, and he failed. Now, Boston's a big IWC city, and it used to be territory of the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, way back when. So there's definitely some ties there where they definitely could pull the trigger and let this moment happen. Absolutely. Anthony, you're absolutely right. If you want intrigue, if you want shock, if you want something to come out of right field that we didn't even see coming, this would be the moment. Pull the trigger, have her cash in the Money in the Bank. Now, if she wins it or not, that's a story for another day. And yes, I do agree, Charlotte successfully defends the title. Now, do they pull her over the top and give her the shot? We'll wait and see. But I'll say this, if they do, look out below, because we'll have two panelists probably in a wee bit of an angry mood, and they might be ranting tomorrow night. If that happens, we'll see. All right, let's move on to the United States Heavyweight Championship fight in a triple threat match. The reigning champion, the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin, versus the glorious Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. All right, at first you're thinking, this is a glorious moment. This is Bobby Roode. He deserves the title. They pulled him on SmackDown. They got to give him a big rub, everything else. Not so fast, my friend. Not yet. I think he's going to get his moment sooner rather than later. Right now, I could see Baron Corbin winning this match, successfully defending the title, and being probably a couple that'll end up keeping their belts at the end of the night. So, give me Baron Corbin to successfully defend the title. I think he'll pin Dolph Ziggler, because it seems like Ziggler's getting pinned by everybody nowadays. So, I'm going to say it. Winner, and still the United States champion, the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin. Anthony, it's yours.
I agree, MF. It feels too early for Corbin to be yielding the United States Heavyweight Championship, considering WWE has done a strong job rebuilding him following the fallout of his failed Money in the Bank cash-in attempt on the go-home show before SummerSlam that you and Michael Bullock were there for last time WWE was here in Providence. But while seeing Ziggler win, especially in the light of his real-life unhappiness that he has publicly disclosed, the whole phone-it-in routine, that would be a nice change. But this has Lone Wolf written all over it. I mean, it would seriously be disheartening if Ziggler is only in this match to do the job so Corbin can retain without pinning Bobby Roode. But like I said, it feels too early to take the strap off Corbin. And that said, he's really not doing much to get it or himself over. Unlike what Roman Reigns is doing with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship over on Monday Night Raw. Challenge matches, which have been unbelievable. But where's that been with Baron Corbin? He's done nothing. But the titles, I mean, one of the reasons why SmackDown Live is, slowly on the decline right now is because of the title picture. The titles on the show are an absolute mess. So I'm going to go with the retention here, unless they are actually and really going to give Bobby Roode a mega push this quickly. My initial gut was to go with Bobby Roode to win the title, but a lot of the previews I've been reading and including UMF, I can't go against it. So I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with Baron Corbin to successfully defend the United States Heavyweight Championship, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, MF. Don't be surprised if WWE actually does the unthinkable. Well, and puts the strap on Bobby Roode. Don't be surprised, because he is a former NXT champion, and he had a great run with that thing. They put the US belt on him. Who knows? Maybe that can give some credibility and prestige back to that title, and maybe he can do for that title what a phenomenal champion is doing with the big belt right now. So that's all I can say on that. So I'm gonna agree, reluctantly agree. I'm not fully confident in this because there's still a sneaking suspicion in my gut that the Glorious One's gonna win the title, but we'll find out nonetheless. So give me Baron Corbin to retain the United States Heavyweight Championship. So nothing more to say, Matt, except I think we're getting ready for our huge double main event here.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to kick it off with the WWE Championship. AJ Styles puts the title on the line against Jinder Mahal. All right, kid, it's all yours. You lead off on the WWE title fight.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I'm not gonna take too much time on this, but there's only one way for this to go. On behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, WWE Brass, we have a message for you. Do not, listen to those two words again, do not even consider putting that title back on that charisma sucker and that buzzkill known as Jinder Mahal, or as Kurt Angle and I like to call him, Jinder Mahal. Do not do it. Because when you put the title on him, what did he do? He single-handedly killed the ratings. That's all there is to it. Putting on subpar, second-rate matches, i.e. Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. Anyone? And some other matches. Punjabi Prison with Randy Orton. Just to name a couple. But when you took the title off of him last month in England, when you put the title on AJ Styles, you saved Survivor Series. And the match he had with Brock Lesnar was a near classic, was an instant classic. No question. You did the right thing, putting the title on, without question, the most gifted and most talented performer in WWE today. A guy I wish was on Monday Night Raw, honestly. He should have been on Raw. He should have gone to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup. Just saying. But you clearly need him to carry SmackDown Live. He is the face of SmackDown Live. He's the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place. Keep it on him and let him, that like many people thought he should have this year, let him next year go into WrestleMania 34 as the WWE champion. Can't have anybody else go into Mania as the champ. So, quick thoughts on this. Well, WWE has really screwed up the SmackDown title picture, and the fact that this still is a feud is incredible to me. If making Mahal champion in the first place was a mistake, putting the strap on him now would be not only an epic failure, but a colossal failure. Consider this a feud that has ended in a trifle unnecessary and hopefully final chapter, with AJ moving on to better things and Mahal taking the shine from his surprising title run and focusing on what's next. Not much to see here. The only thing I'm hoping for, and we're all hoping for, is for closure. Let's move on. Finally. Winner, and still WWE Champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles, and so help me God, if they take the title off of him and they put it back on that charisma sucker one more time, get ready for the mother of all Tony Rants. MF, I'm giving you the warning right now. I know it's TV14, but you better switch that sucker to MA if they put that title back on him.
All right.
Keep it on AJ. He's the best.
All right. All right. I agree. I think everybody here on the show would agree with that outcome. If AJ does win the match, I think everything will be good and healthy in the world. If some way somehow Jinder Mahal wins the title, there will be more than just no joy in Mudville. Mudville will overflow, and it's gonna turn Bowling Shoe ugly if that does happen. So no doubt about it. I think we're all in agreement. AJ Styles will successfully defend the title, and we actually got Dee Woodson on now. So Dee, welcome. We're just gonna go pretty quick on what you missed. We actually basically bypassed the Fandango and Tyler Breeze versus the Bludgeon Brothers, so you don't have to give me your thoughts about that. But what we did talk about was the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos, The New Day, Sheldon Benjamin and Chad Gable, or Rusev and Aiden English? Who do you got?
Well, I think it would be nice to see somebody different with the tag team titles. So, but I don't think it's Gable and Benjamin's time. So maybe Rusev and English. So we'll go with that.
Okay. Actually, Anthony went and he actually predicted Gable and Benjamin to win, and I'm actually with you. I actually have Rusev and Aiden English winning the title.
Okay.
So the SmackDown Women's title on the line, Natalya versus Charlotte. What do you got?
Charlotte.
Oh, easy call. All right.
Very easy call.
Actually, should I or should I not? Because Anthony had an interesting scenario, and he actually predicted Carmella cashing in the Money in the Bank and winning the title.
That's a possibility.
Okay.
I could possibly see that. But I don't.
I
don't think Natalya is going to win it. No, I don't.
Okay.
Out of the two, I would say Charlotte, and then if Carmella decides to do it, then Carmella will probably get the title.
Much to your chagrin.
Yeah, especially the fact that I still do not like the bimbo. So.
Okay. The next fight we had was for the United States Championship. Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler.
Bobby Roode.
All right. And WWE title fight, Jinder Mahal, AJ Styles, but I think we already know where you're going with that one.
AJ.
Yep, we kind of expected that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see Jinder getting it back, so.
All right, so we're on to the main event of the evening, the tag team main event. It is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura with two special guest referees, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And this note that if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens loses this match, then they are fired from WWE. They cannot go to Monday Night Raw. They are out of WWE altogether. Dee Woodson, you get to lead off on the main event.
Actually, I don't think this fight is going to have an ending. I think we're going to have a screw job ending.
Really? So you're calling NA no contest?
Yeah, I am actually. Whether I'm right or not, I don't know. But every time I've seen WWE and it's come down to something like this, it's always ended in some sort of a screw job type ending. So I have a big feeling we're going to have a screw job type ending, especially since you have both the GM and the commissioner both as the referees.
Yeah,
So
you know,
how
wow.
it's gonna happen, I have no idea. I just have this big feeling, and I'm going with my gut on this, that we're gonna see something big happen with this. This could be, the time when Daniel Bryan's gonna really, turn and screw Shane McMahon in this. I don't know. I just had that feeling that we're going to have the screw job ending. The two guys are not going to be fired, but we're going to have this ending that's just going to continue the storyline on. So,
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with this, that I think there's going to be a screw job ending. I agree with that. But I think it will be Daniel Bryan helping Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning the fight and keeping their jobs. So I'm actually going to go with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win. But I am going to say that it is a screwy ending. But I think it's going to be Daniel Bryan doing a fast count, 1, 2, 3. Because I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a little bit of a power struggle. Shane might get taken out during the fight. That prompts Daniel Bryan to get into the ring. And then you're going to see the quick count, the 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to see Owens and Sami Zayn win the match by that way, where, you could plant the seeds further of a possible Daniel Bryan heel turn, where it looks like that is going to happen, and it looks like we will have that. Anthony was dreading it, but it looks like we might have a power struggle possibly on our hands on SmackDown Live. One thing that we should not have, but because we already had that power struggle on Raw, SmackDown was always the land of opportunity, and now it looks like they might be going into that power struggle storyline, and that's, that does no justice for either one of us. So anyway, Anthony, go ahead. Give me your thoughts about the main event.
Oh, it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. No doubt about it. I mean, out of all the matches on the card, this is the easiest one to call right here. Well, other than AJ and Mahal, of course. But okay, what do I have to say about this? Well, this feud right here, this angle, has been far and away the saving grace of SmackDown Live, even though it's on the decline, like I said. The true lure of this match has almost nothing to do with the 4 participants, and rests almost exclusively in the question of whether Daniel Bryan will turn heel and or take one step closer to a possible and rumored in-ring return. The uneasy dynamics between Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon have been built very well, entering their roles as double referees. As I just said, this angle remains the saving grace of SmackDown Live, and a spin-off heel faction involving Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn has potential to create CM Punk-like shoot storylines if Daniel Bryan's commentary on Tuesday were any indication. That little back and forth he had with Byron Saxton. WWE is pushing us toward the idea of Daniel Bryan turning heel to link up with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Shane O'Mac. While I think the prediction that Owens and Zayn win the match, there is no other outcome that makes sense considering what is on the line. I'm not sure exactly it goes down as we're projecting. There are other scenarios that I wanna present. Is there a situation in which we get an even bigger swerve, and Shane McMahon turns heel on Daniel Bryan, and he actually sides with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Or could Randy Orton or even Shinsuke Nakamura, due to his NXT connection, though that would be strange, change course and go against both authority figures? The Daniel Bryan angle seems way too obvious, but ultimately, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're not going anywhere. No way. Not no way, not no how. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win. The most likely scenario, Daniel Bryan turns heel and sides with Owens and Zayn. But remember those scenarios I just threw out. Consider those. Read into those what you will. Or take those with a grain of salt, like Derek would say. So, nothing more to say. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they get the win. It's not going to end clean. There's going to be a lot of chicanery in that one. If that ends clean, I'll be shocked. So, Owens and Zayn get the win. They stay safe. But mark my words, MF and DD, and all of you out there will be a heel turn. Who it is, I don't know.
We'll just have to wait and find out.
Daniel Bryan's the most obvious. But watch out for Shane O'Mac, or maybe even Randy Orton or Shinsuke Nakamura. Think about that.
I mean, Orton would be a prime candidate because of the fact that he loves to be the heel. And maybe a program with him and Nakamura would be pretty nice to see. Who knows? For Nakamura to turn heel, I don't think so. I think he's too over by the fans, and I don't think the fans would accept Nakamura turning heel. I just don't think that can happen. Shane turning heel, after all that, I mean, possible, no doubt about it. And plus, with everybody so high on Daniel Bryan being that yes figure, I think it definitely would do a disservice if they turn Daniel heel. I don't think the fans would buy it, because remember, they did the same thing when Daniel tried to do when Daniel was in that brief role with the Wyatts, and it didn't do any justice. You know, fans were still on his side the whole time. So, I mean, it's possible. It's plausible, but I think the two prime candidates right now I'm looking at is possibly Shane McMahon, because Shane is a good heel character, and Randy Orton. Those would be the two I would say. But we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow night. All right, guys, expectations. Anthony, I'm gonna start it with you. Didi, you'll go second, and then I'll close it. So, Anthony, your overall expectations for tomorrow night's show.
Okay. Gotta think about this for a moment. The final WWE pay-per-view of 2017 is here, and though Clash of Champions is not a particularly exciting card, enough can go down on this SmackDown Live branded show to shake up the company heading into 2018 and the road to WrestleMania 34. Will we see Daniel Bryan turn heel in the main event? Will any of the titles change hands in an event that is supposed to feature all the straps? So, those are a lot of good questions. I think the main event's going to be the fight of the night, without question. Second best fight, I'll probably go with the tag team titles. I got a good feeling about that one. The U.S. triple threat, the women. I mean, I don't have a good feeling about the WWE title match, even though it's AJ Styles against Jinder Mahal. And AJ got a damn good match out of Mahal when AJ won the title in England. So we'll see. Of course, the worst fight of the night is going to be the Bludgeon Brothers and Breezango, with the Bludgeons obviously squashing Breezango. That's all we can say there. The pre-show fight doesn't count, although I have Mojo Rawley winning that. So this is probably looking like a middle of the road kind of show. I'm leaning towards maybe right around 6 to 7 out of 10, if I'm being honest. Not quite a thumbs up, but a thumbs in the middle. Possibly leaning towards thumbs up, but like I said, this is an in the middle kind of show. I can honestly say I'm not all that excited about this event. I mean, the last event, of course, Survivor Series, you know how excited I was about that. Not just because it's my favorite event of the year, but because that card, we all remember that card was stacked from top to bottom. And it ended up delivering one of the best Survivor Series shows, if not the best Survivor Series show of all time. This show, on the other hand, aside from the tag team match, main event, the tag team titles, 4-way, those are the only two matches that I can honestly say I'm honestly looking really forward to seeing. Maybe even the U.S. triple threat, but I'm a little iffy on the women's match, and AJ and Mahal. I don't have a good feeling about that one. And the Bludgeons and Breezango, that's gonna be a squash teetering on the cutout. So I don't think that's what it takes to be a 7 out of 10 show. I'm leaning more towards 6, 6.5. I think that's the best I can give this show. I hope they prove me wrong. I would love to see SmackDown Live make a great comeback, considering all those horrific weeks we've had over the last few weeks, especially that god awful show, that horrific show we had this past week. SmackDown Live is going to hang with Monday Night Raw. They need to deliver a damn good show tomorrow night. They need to give us a show that'll have us talking around the water coolers and the donut shops, the whole 9 yards. So I'm thinking 6 to 6.5, but I hope they do better. Yes, I'm a Raw guy. I'm going to bleed the Raw red until I die, of course, but I'm secretly rooting for you guys. I really am. I'm really rooting for SmackDown Live to deliver a good show. I really hope they do. My gut's telling me this is not going to be a good show by any means, but in the immortal words of Chris Benoit, I hope they prove me wrong. That's all I can say. Prove me wrong. So 6 to 6.5. Dee Woodson, what are your overall expectations going into tomorrow night? I'm leaning towards 6, 6.5.
I can see it being 6 or 6.5. The only way I see it going up much higher depends on what happens in the main event. Like I said, I don't see Kevin Owens and Zayn leaving, but I don't see a clean finish either. Like I said, I don't even really see a finish going on in on that. Definitely agree there's going to be a heel turn on that main event. The women, I may be the expert when it comes to that, but I agree. I'm not really looking super forward to it because, there's only so many times you can see the same competitors going up against each other, and then you still have Carmella back there waving this case saying, hey, look, I'm still here. I still have my chance. So, I mean, it's becoming very repetitive. And you got to think, this is coming from a person who has not seen SmackDown in a few weeks because of my work commitment. But I can, I can definitely agree with Anthony a lot of what he said on how he's rating, getting to the rating of about the 6.5. But yeah, a lot of it I think is going to weigh on that main event, which definitely, no matter how it's going to end, whether it ends in the NA or not, I still think it's going to probably be the match of the night because there's just so much at stake in there. There's so much drama that's connected to this that I don't see this storyline ending with this match. And no matter what happens, whether it's a clean ending, whether it's a screwy ending, whether there's an ending at all, we're going to see something big come out of this. And whether it's Orton that turns, Shane that turns, Daniel that turns, we don't know, but somebody's going to have that heel turn. And I agree with Fletch. I don't think Nakamura is going to be the one to do it. I don't think so at all. For one, hasn't been there long enough. Too big of a fan favorite. I have a feeling he's probably going to fall in the lines of where John Cena is, where you're not going to be able to really turn him for any time soon type situation. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens there. So not much more I had to say about it. Let's take it home.
And I'm gonna be with you guys. I'm gonna say 6.5. I'm hoping for the 7, but 6.5 is the highest I can go because if you really look at the card, it's not the most glamorous card. I mean, the U.S. title fight is a triple threat. All right, fine. That might be decent enough. You got the women's title match that, yes, it is repetitive, but You do have some definite characters outside of the ring. Who knows how that's going to play out? That could open the door for somebody to really do something there. The Fatal 4-Way for the tag team titles, that could be the X factor of this entire show. That could be one of those sleeper fights of the night that could catch us all by surprise. Of course, WWE title fight, it's really it's one of the more weaker WWE title fights we've had in a while, and because going into it, it's an overwhelming majority going on one direction that if the successful title defense happens, it's like, yeah, we knew it, no big surprise. But if it swings the other way, look out below. You're going to have not only the IWC is going to be angry, not only the WWE Universe is going to be angry, but you're going to have 4 people on this show that might put me in a TVMA, and I might have to put age restriction level on this show, on my recap. I've only put age restriction on it once before. So who knows? I might have to pull the trigger a second time. God, I hope not. But it is very possible. On top of that, then you got a very highly competitive tag team main event with a lot of drama going into it. So who knows how that's going to play out. So, and Boston's a really good IWC city. They're really good with their wrestling. So who knows how that's going to play out. We'll find out tomorrow night. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on the WWE Network and on all major pay-per-view providers. Once the show ends, come on back here on BrazeFan 95. Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, Dee Woodson, and myself. We will have the recap of Clash of Champions. And guys, that is it. So thank you so much for watching this. Like the video, share it with all your friends on all social media platforms. Comment, give me your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win the matches tomorrow night? And until then, we'll see you at 11 p.m. or later, depending, tomorrow night. BrazeFan 95. For Anthony Floyo, for Dee Woodson, I'm Mike Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.